What is going on, everyone? It is your boy Blank Online here today to chat with you guys some more about some Call of Duty, and today we're getting excited, we're getting ramped up, and we're anticipating Black Ops 5. Yes, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Treyarch is back in the studio, getting ready, preparing themselves to pick work back up and get into Black Ops 5 and continuing development on that. As we know, last year they did start development very, prematurely, picking up on where Sledgehammer Games left off. And essentially taking what Sledgehammer Games was doing, bringing their own twist to it, bringing their own ideas into it, and creating a game, well, not from scratch, but creating a game based off what another studio has already done. We're not too sure on how many of the things that Sledgehammer Games did is going to be in Black Ops 5, and we're going to assume that it's called Black Ops 5 as well. I think that they're going to keep the setting, and the setting being the Cold War setting as well. So we're going to go back in time. So we're not going further into the future. We're going further back in time to a Cold War setting, and we're going to see what Treyarch can do there. Now, the reason we're going to be talking about this is because of a couple of things. David Vonderhaar, the main man over there at Treyarch, has confirmed that this year's game will not have jetpacks. I know that people have said things on Twitter like jetpacks will revive Call of Duty and you better have jetpacks in this next COD. David Vonderhaar was very quick to shut down those cries for jetpacks and just saying no and saying, yeah, pretty much not happening. And the thing is, right, the advanced movement games were an interesting time in Call of Duty. They were a time of great change, and they were a time that really brought about a lot of the things that are still, plaguing the franchise today. One of the main things is microtransactions and supply drops, which was something that was first introduced in Advanced Warfare, and then it escalated from there. Again, Advanced Warfare being the first game in that advanced movement era. I'm going to make a whole video, and I think it's really interesting, and it's something that we should look into on the advanced movement era and how it worked, how it didn't work, so I'll get into a video more on that. But this is essentially David Vonderhaar saying no jetpacks in this year's COD. I myself want to go through and talk about what I would like to see in this year's Call of Duty, and I know, first off, there's no concrete information on what this year's Call of Duty is going to be. There's just leaks, there's just rumors and that sort of thing. I know it's only January, and I get it. It's very early. We're about 9 months out from the next Call of Duty, assuming it comes out in October again. So we're quite a bit away from this game coming out, and I guess it's testament to how garbage Modern Warfare is when we're already excited and already talking about the next game after Modern Warfare. Season 1's not even finished yet, and we're already getting excited for what Treyarch's going to bring us here with Black Ops 5 in 2020. The first thing I mainly want to see is them to continue with Activision's vision on microtransactions and their overall stance on it, and we all know that Activision has the final say on what Treyarch wants to do. They forced Treyarch to be on this Call of Duty 2020 project. We know that they forced Treyarch to do certain things with microtransactions in Black Ops 4 as well. So we know that they do, as the publisher, they have a lot of power when it comes to what they can make these developers do and how they can monetize their games post-launch. They recently, if you guys don't know, brought out the reason that Modern Warfare and Modern Warfare's microtransaction system is completely cosmetic based is because of a change that Activision themselves implemented into not only Call of Duty but their other franchises moving forward, which is why Modern Warfare has as well a free battle pass and a paid battle pass, and the paid battle pass is purely just to get extra different cosmetic items. You can still get the 2 free DLC weapons even if you didn't pay for the premium battle pass. And again, it's that new philosophy that Activision has brought into not only Call of Duty but every other franchise as well, and it's gonna really, in my opinion, it really benefited Modern Warfare, because if you can imagine Modern Warfare as a game with the state that it's in, as well as having supply drops and that sort of stuff, it would just really hinder that game's credibility, and the community will really hate that game. So in Black Ops 5 this year, I want to see that continue. I want to see no supply drops. I like the system that's in Modern Warfare. I don't mind there being bundles. so long as you don't take stuff out of the game to then implement in bundles like the Death Watch and that sort of crap, and that doesn't make sense. But yeah, keep that system, it's fine. Battle Pass, keep it like that. And I'd like to see with the Battle Pass for Treyarch to improve on what they did with Black Ops 4. Black Ops 4 was the first Call of Duty to introduce a Battle Pass in a Call of Duty game, and for what it was a decent system. The one thing that I've been crying out for is for it not to be based off of time played, because one, it's a system that completely is down to it's not trackable. You can't see how fast or slow you're progressing in the Battle Pass. You just see a bar move forward, and it just doesn't make any sense as to how you can sort of measure how well you're doing in terms of progressing in the Battle Pass. And as well as that, it's also a system that really hinders players who don't necessarily have the time of day or the time in their lives to pump for, let's say, for example, Modern Warfare. In Modern Warfare, it's estimated that you have to play 4 games in order to progress through a tier. You times that by 100. 4 times 100 is 400. 400 games of Modern Warfare is what it's required in order for you to complete the entire 100 tiers on the Battle Pass. Let's say you play 410-minute games. That's a lot of time to play Modern Warfare, and that's a lot of time to play Call of Duty, which is why a system that ties into leveling up XP wise and having a clear sense of progression is something that I'd like to see being improved upon in Black Ops 5. I'm all for the Cold War setting as well. I'm all for us going back, and I don't necessarily care where this game takes place. Near future, present, past, fucking could be wherever. I don't really care. As long as we get a buttload of weapons, as long as we get a buttload of perks, and as long as we get maps in the game that aren't just, I guess, not just 3-laned. I just want maps that look fun to play. If you look at Modern Warfare, all of the maps have a certain color palette, and it's very brown, and that's something that Infinity Ward has been known for. Treyarch not so much. Treyarch has definitely put in color into their maps, and I'd love to see that continue. I'd love to see vibrant, colorful maps come back to to Call of Duty, even though we may or may not be going back to the Cold War. There's definitely ways to still be within that settings, but also bring some color to it, so that we're not always looking at the same browns and different shades of browns. We're looking at different colors, and that would just make the whole experience a whole lot better. As well as that, as I sort of touched on before, weapons. I'd love to see a bunch of weapons in this game. We look at a game like Black Ops 1, which had a ton of weapons and a ton of attachments as well, and even though, let's say, a game like World War II, which really honed in on the fact that it's World War II and there's all these limited amount of guns and limited amount of attachments, it's Call of Duty. End of the day, it's Call of Duty, and we can't. And it's not like Battlefield, or it's not like any other of those realistic shooter games. Let's bring it back to what it was before. Let's bring it back to the arcadic sort of shooter, and let's have a bunch of weapons and a bunch of attachments and a bunch of things for us to grind for, which is something that I do believe that Modern Warfare definitely brought to the table. It definitely brought a wider selection of weapons that we haven't previously seen when you compare it to Black Ops 4, and we definitely got a wider selection of attachments as well, and different ways to play around with your weapons so that it will perform different ways depending on the attachments that you choose. I'd love to see the gunsmith return. I'd love... What is the guns? Oh, fucking, I don't even know. The weapon attachment system in Modern Warfare. I'd love to see that return here in Black Ops 5. I think it's a really cool system that really adds a lot of diversity. You can make weapons out of different attachments. So like the attachments you put on your AK-47 can turn it into a 74U. The attachment you put on the Holger 26 can turn it into a G3 6C. Like, it's very versatile. It's really fun to play around, and it's, I guess it adds that next sort of, it adds a different layer in terms of weapon customization that I think that a lot of previous Call of Duties prior to Modern Warfare didn't necessarily have, and I'd love to see that continue here into Black Ops 5. I'd love to see campaign return as well, and maybe not, I don't know, maybe continuing the story of what Sergeant Woods did before, in the time between Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2. Maybe, I don't know, what happened after Black Ops 1, you know, the end of Black Ops 1 when they're on that boat and the jets are flying. What happened after that? What happened before Even the flashbacks in Black Ops 2, what happened even before that. I think there's a time period there for us to discover, and I think that the story can be really, really good. I just hope that they don't chuck a Black Ops 3 on us, because Black Ops 3 campaign was absolutely garbage. Other than that, Zombies is most likely going to return. In what form, we'll wait and see, because I'm pretty sure the Ether storyline is completely finished. So more likely than not, with Zombies coming back, they'll start a new story, and it's going to be interesting to see how Treyarch can pull it off, because we saw the Chaos storyline, not a lot of people enjoyed it. We saw even with the Victus crew, while people did enjoy it, they ended up tying it into the Primus crew anyway, so eventually we went back to our original 4 characters we had in World at War and Black Ops 1. So we gotta wait and see what they do with Zombies. I've never been the biggest Zombies fan. I appreciate what it is, and I can play it, and I can have fun with it, but I've never been super in-depth with it, so I'm sure that the more hardcore Zombies fans will have more opinions and more things on their wish list that they want with Black Ops 5 in terms of Zombies. But for me, I just want something fun. I don't want all this complex shit that they've been doing, all these maps which have 50 different things you need to do before you can do this. I'd love for it to go back to what it was in Black Ops 2 even, where we just had a map, you play the map, and that was pretty much it. You don't have to do all this token demon shit. I don't fucking know what they do. I'd love for it to just go back to basics, which I think is the main thing that we've got to look at here with Black Ops 5, is going back to basics. Because Treyarch doesn't have a lot of time with this Call of Duty, so they can't really do a lot in terms of vast and crazy innovative ways to change the franchise, and I don't think they should anyway. I think that it's time for Call of Duty to take a step back and look at what worked before and continue to do that. Modern Warfare did a lot of things wrong, but it did some things right in terms of the weapons, and as I said before, in terms of the gunsmith as well. Modern Warfare did some things right, but the things that it did wrong was in map design, safe space, catering to players, skill-based matchmaking, and everything that we've been complaining about this whole year. And I think that what Treyarch needs to do, and they need to recognize what the core fan base has been crying out for in this whole time we've had Modern Warfare. If Black Ops 5 launches with skill-based matchmaking, we will know and we will not be happy with it. If Black Ops 5 launches with a map design philosophy that caters around safe space and new players, then we will not be happy. You can't completely alienate the casual fan base, but you can't completely alienate the core fan base as well. And I think Treyarch needs to find that happy medium, and I think they've done that before. They've done that with Black Ops 3. They've done that with Black Ops 4. It's just Infinity Ward that really messed it up. So Treyarch needs to continue to do what they've been doing. I've had my problems with Black Ops 4, and I'm pretty sure you guys have had your problems with Black Ops 4 as well. But what I personally can't take away from Black Ops 4 is that it was a fun Call of Duty that definitely made me want to grind the game out. I can't say the same about Modern Warfare, so we need to really ignite that flame back in the Call of Duty franchise. We need to get people on side with Call of Duty as well, and I think that Modern Warfare has definitely left a bad taste in people's mouths, but I think that as a studio, Treyarch is my favorite Call of Duty development team. So if anyone is going to bring this franchise back to where it once was, it's Treyarch. So I'm fairly hopeful, but also at the same time fairly skeptical when it comes to Call of Duty Black Ops 5. I think that we're going to get a decent game. I'm very cautious because of the amount of time Treyarch has had to develop this game. They haven't had the 3 years. And we're seeing with Modern Warfare, Infinity Ward had 3 years to develop this game, and this is what we got. So I'm very skeptical that Treyarch has only got essentially a year and a half to develop this game. And it's not a new thing as well. A lot of the people over at Treyarch were developing back in the day, where it was just 1 year on, 1 year off, 1 year on, 1 year off. And I guess the whole 3-year development cycle thing worked in a way, and it also didn't work in some ways as well. And again, we'll talk about more of that when I do my advanced movement era video, but that's it for me. I think that's all I want to talk about right now. Black Ops 5 is coming this year. It's in development. The Treyarch is back. They're on the go. They're developing this game once again. No jetpacks, so no advanced movement this year, so you all can calm down. And yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed. Comment down below if there's one thing that you'd love to see in Black Ops 5. What would that one thing be? Me personally, just back to basics. Back to basics is what I'd love to see here with Black Ops 5. Click subscribe if you're new here so you don't miss out on my next videos, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Peace out.